for different walls, you will refer to this table. This table is given in your carrier handbook as well as history handbook. Here you have the nominal diameters, and corresponding to this, whatever, let's say if it is something like similar to globe wall, then these are your values. For example, let's say it says 1 inch dia. So 1 inch means 25 mm. So if I have a globe wall, its length will be somewhere around 29 feet. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it will be equivalent to 29 feet. So of pipe length. So basically we have globe walls, then we have gate walls, check walls, then we have voice channels. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Lift check wall and swing check wall. So here they have not given any values. So generally we take swing check wall. Swing check wall will have higher value than what is available in actual market. In actual practice, what we do is we use what? Anybody? What type of NRVs do we use? What is NRV or what is check wall?
Non-return wall.
Yeah, it's a non-return wall. Check wall, which basically prevents the backflow of water. So this is based on gravity. So the gravity one will have more resistance. We'll see them in the coming slides also. So what we do is we'll refer to these tables and we'll find out equivalent length for everything, whatever walls we have. When I do my calculations for selecting my pump, first I will do is I'll find the what? The first thing I have to find out the longest path. Okay. Second thing is, as per pipe dia, I'll find out what is my head. Then I'll find out equivalent length of all walls and I'll add them all. So that whatever I'm getting here is my actually head for my pump. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So similarly bends, generally we have 90-degree standard bends. So for example, if I have one bend, so 1 inch dia ke liye, that is equivalent to 2.6 feet of straight length. I hope it is clear. So let's understand what is a wall. Basically, a wall is a mechanical device which regulates either the flow or the pressure of the fluid. Its functions can be stopping or starting the flow, controlling the flow rate, diverting the flow, preventing backflow, relieving pressure. These are the basically functions of walls. So we'll study one by one. So first one is isolation. Start or stop. We use butterfly walls, ball walls, plug walls. We'll give you the delta T, delta P. And every wall will have one K chart. We'll see those charts in the coming slides. And based on this and the number of turns, the number of turns will be mentioned over here. You can find out how much water is flowing through this wall. So balancing wall does what? It balances the system. It controls any equipment. Say you have a 100 TR chiller. The flow across 100 TR chiller is how much? at the rate of 3 GPM, it should be 300 GPM. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if I put a balancing wall, so that balancing wall will ensure that in any circumstance, the flow across chiller will not go beyond 300 GPM. It will be always 300 only, or it can be less than 300. I hope it is clear.
Fixed flow.
Where the flow is fixed. For example, chiller, cooling tower, you know, their capacities cannot be changed. For AHUs, there is always a possibility you have to change the capacity. They can be higher, they can be lower, they can be more pressure, they can be less pressure. So based on that, you may have to change the values. If you are damn sure, then you can go for automatic balancing wall. Otherwise, you have to go for a manual balancing wall. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So basically, the next one is control wall. What is control wall? So this is a actuator. So you can put this actuator on top of this. So what happens is there's a thermostat. That thermostat gives signal to this, and this will rotate accordingly. So this can open or close. This is a three-way control wall. Water is coming this way. If let's say this gets a signal, this will rotate slightly, and then what will happen is some water will come out of this, some water will come out of this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is control wall. This is controlling your flow. So if I close this port, then what happens is the
Complete flow
flow
will go on
through,
the garage.
the moment this rotates, the flow through this will reduce and this will become two-way wall instead of three-way wall. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So then we have pressure independent automatic balancing wall. So what is this? This is actually combination of this wall and this wall. Or you can say this wall and this wall. Two walls are into one wall. What does this do? This basically controls the maximum flow as well as it can control as per signal from your thermostat. So that's why it is called as pressure independent automatic balancing wall. This is balancing cum control wall. I hope it is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So where do we use control wall? Three-way control wall or two-way control wall? Where do we use them?
Sir,
Anybody?
at the junction where we need to bifurcate the flow.
Yeah, basically for at your AHUs, we don't have any control valve at your chillers because chiller cools your water. So we don't have any control valve there. But for every AHU, we'll have a control valve. It will be either two-way valve or it will be three-way valve. If it's a three-way valve, what it will do is it will allow only that much of water that is required for cooling. Rest of the water will get bypassed. If it is a two-way valve, then what will happen is it will slowly start closing and there will be increase in pressure. That increase in pressure will be sensed by your VFD and it will reduce your RPM accordingly. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So PICV wall is one step ahead of your control wall. So it can do both the functions. It can control the maximum flow as well as it can modulate as per signal from your thermostat. I hope it is clear. Then you have check valves. So this is a dual plate check valve. That is what is called as K chart. So what you do is basically with every valve you get this K chart. So check the valve stem position from the handle indicator. So it will give you either in percent, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, or it will give you in terms of number of turns, 1 ton, 2 ton, 3 ton, 4 ton. So what you do is you connect your water manometer, measure the differential pressure across the valve using manometer and mark it on the chart. Flow can be plotted on the chart as shown. So let's say it was 20% open. Pressure difference was somewhere around 6 kg. Not kg, 6. And your flow will be somewhere around 85. I hope it is clear. To measure delta P, and just by reading the number of turns or percent how much it is open, you can find out what is the flow. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So these K charts will come along with your balancing valves. We had already seen this type of figure earlier also. If I don't have balancing valves, then what happens is basically there will be more. If I have, let's say, 5 AHUs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 AHUs, and if this is connected to a plant room, so there will be more flow here, less, and least here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we had seen this also. If pressure drop across HU1 will be what? P1 plus 8P2, P1 plus 6P2, and last one it will be P1. So let's say all are open at 100%. I put balancing valves. Then I started balancing. So first one I will balance. So this will come to, let's say, 80%, 60%, 40, 20%. So I'll get P1 all across. So this is 100% open, last one, 100% open, 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%. I hope it is clear. This is just representation. When all walls were open, there was so much flow. The moment you started what? Throttling these, your flows kept on reducing. Finally, the flow is this. So you have added resistance. So what has happened is your head has increased, your flow has reduced. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So how does this actually happen at site? Let's say I have 3 HUs, I have 3 balancing valve, I have 1 pump. And let's say when all the valves were open, there was 130 GPM in HU3, 120 GPM in HU2, and 110 GPM in HU1. And I need to have 100 GPM across each and every HU. They all are of same capacity. So now I'll start throttling these. So because this is 110, I have to make this 100. So I'll start with this. So here my flow is 360. For this, I want to make it somewhere around 300. My ultimate goal. So what I did was, instead of throttling the last one, I started with the second last one. I throttled this. The moment I throttled this, so this reduced from 120 to 116. The moment this became 116, what will happen is there will be some increase in flow in the first one, and there will be some increase in the last one also. So then I further throttle this. The moment this became 112, the flow across the last one also became 112. So last, second last, now it is 112. The first one, it is 132.
Could you please repeat it from as my network again?
Any doubts?
Sir, please
Somebody
repeat
is
it.
talking, it is not clear. So then I went to the third AHU. I started throttling this. The moment I throttled this from 130 to 127, my first and second, they became 113, 113. Then I throttled this to 115. All the three AHUs became 115. I can throttle them further. My total flow from 360 got reduced to 356. It became 345. Now I can add one more balancing wall, or I can further throttle these walls. So let's say, to make it simpler, I throttled this one. The moment I throttle this one to 300, automatically these became 100, 100, 100. So you can see, with just 3 AHUs of same capacity, I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 3s are 18 plus 1. 17 steps to balance the system. In actual practice, it may take more time. Why?
Sir, repeat.
Because your capacities will be different. It will not be same. So the moment you switch off your second last one, the first one flow may vary. So in olden days, balancing activity could even take an year.